Welcome, Bingers, to the Binge. This is your weekly deep dive into a myriad of topics pulled from the vast, fascinating corners of history, technology, and human experience. We're here to explore the stories that captivate, the ideas that challenge, and the figures who truly left their mark, for better or for worse. In this episode, we're tearing into the life of Nikola Tesla, the unsung maverick who wired our modern world. Then we're strapping in for a wild ride back to the chaotic, unhinged early days of the internet, the true Wild West of the web. And finally, we're stepping into the blood-soaked sands of the Roman arena to confront the brutal, captivating world of the Gladiator. So settle in, get comfortable, and prepare to binge.
It's the Binge Podcast where everything's a blast. It's the Binge Podcast. Come join us fast.
The unsung maverick, Nikola Tesla. In a world obsessed with immediate gratification and the loudest voice, it's easy to forget the quiet, often eccentric geniuses who truly changed the goddamn game. One such titan, a veritable wizard of the electrical age, was Nikola Tesla. Forget your Edison, that shrewd capitalist bastard. Tesla was the real deal. A visionary whose mind conjured the very fabric of our modern electrical world, only to be systematically screwed over by the very system he helped illuminate. Born in a small village in the Austrian Empire, Tesla was a force of nature from the get-go. He envisioned alternating current, when everyone else was still fumbling with Edison's clunky, inefficient direct current system. The man literally saw the future, complete with power grids, radio, and remote control, while others were still trying to figure out how to keep a light bulb lit for more than 5 minutes. His brain wasn't just big. It was a goddamn supercomputer capable of designing complex machinery entirely in his head, down to the last screw and coil. He'd build prototypes that worked flawlessly on the first try, because he'd already built and debugged them 1,000 times in his mind. It's not just smart. That's some next-level mind-bending shit. But here's where the fascinating part takes a turn for the tragic, and frankly infuriating. While Edison was busy marketing his DC system and busy spreading propaganda about the dangers of AC, even electrocuting animals to prove his point, the sick fuck, Tesla was struggling to get his revolutionary ideas off the ground. He was a brilliant inventor, but a terrible businessman, often too trusting and too focused on the purity of his scientific pursuits to play the cutthroat corporate game. He famously sold his AC patents to George Westinghouse for a pittance, or so it seemed at the time, sacrificing immense personal wealth for the greater good of universal electrification. What a goddamn martyr, right? His later years were a testament to both his continued brilliance and his increasing isolation. He dreamed of wireless energy transmission, a world system that would provide free electricity to everyone on Earth. He built Wardenclyffe Tower, a monumental structure on Long Island, intending it to be the prototype for his global power-sharing network. But funding dried up, partly due to the machinations of J.P. Morgan, who reportedly realized that free energy meant no meters, no bills, and no goddamn profit. Tesla, ever the idealist, was left with a half-finished dream and a mountain of debt. It's enough to make you scream. Tesla died alone and largely forgotten in a New York City hotel room, his grand visions dismissed as the ramblings of an old, eccentric fool. Yet look around you. Every time you plug in your phone, turn on a light, or listen to the radio, you are benefiting from the genius of Nikola Tesla. His legacy, once obscured by corporate greed and historical revisionism, is finally getting the recognition it deserves. He was a flawed, magnificent, and utterly essential human being, a true maverick who dared to dream bigger than anyone else, even if the world wasn't quite ready for his goddamn brilliance. The Wild West of the web, early internet. Before the sleek, curated, algorithm-driven hellscape we now call the internet, there was a glorious, messy, and unhinged era, the early days of the World Wide Web. This wasn't just a different version of the internet, it was a goddamn alien landscape, a digital frontier where rules were scarce, design was an afterthought, and every click felt like an adventure into the unknown. If you weren't there, you missed out on some truly bizarre and beautiful shit. Think about it. Dial-up. That screeching, squawking symphony of modems connecting, a sound that still haunts the dreams of anyone over 30. You'd wait 5 minutes for a single JPEG to load, line by agonizing line, watching a digital Polaroid develop in slow motion. And then, the glorious payoff, a blurry image of a cat playing a keyboard, or maybe a GeoCities page dedicated to someone's collection of Beanie Babies, complete with animated GIFs of spinning skulls and under construction signs. It was a testament to patience, or perhaps just a lack of other goddamn options. The aesthetic was a chaotic explosion of bad taste and boundless creativity. Websites were often built by enthusiastic amateurs with zero design experience, resulting in neon text on busy backgrounds, Comic Sans everywhere, and MIDI files blasting out of nowhere. Navigation was a nightmare, often a labyrinth of broken links and under construction banners. But here's the thing, it was authentic. There were no corporate overlords dictating what you could see or do. If you wanted to make a website about your obsession with obscure sci-fi movies, you just did it, and you found your tribe. It was a genuine community, built on shared niche interests rather than manufactured outrage. And the content? Oh, the content was a glorious mess. Forums were the heart of it all. Sprawling digital town squares where people argued, shared knowledge, and occasionally descended into pure flame wars. Chat rooms were where you met strangers from across the globe, often with wildly exaggerating personas before the advent of social media made everyone's real lives painfully public. It was a place where information was truly free, not filtered through a dozen layers of sponsored content and clickbait. You had to dig for it, sure, but when you found that obscure forum post or that hidden FTP server, it felt like discovering buried treasure. The early internet was a wild west, a lawless land where anyone could stake their claim, however crude or brilliant. It was a time of genuine exploration before the digital map was fully drawn and every path was paved. While today's internet offers undeniable convenience and power, it often lacks the raw, untamed spirit of those early days. It was a beautiful, frustrating, and utterly groundbreaking period, and frankly, we'll probably never see anything quite like that glorious, chaotic shit show again. Blood, Sand, and Spectacle, the Roman Gladiator. Forget your modern-day sports heroes, your pampered athletes with their endorsement deals and private jets. If you want to talk about true grit, about men who stared death in the face for the roar of the crowd, you've got to look back to the Roman Empire and its goddamn gladiators. These weren't just fighters, they were living, breathing spectacles, slaves and condemned men forced into an arena to entertain the masses with their blood, sweat, and often with their fucking lives. The life of a gladiator was a brutal, short, and utterly captivating existence. Many were prisoners of war, criminals, or even free men who sold themselves into servitude out of desperation or a thirst for glory. They were trained in specialized schools, often under the watchful eye of a lanista, a manager who was both their owner and their drill sergeant. The training was relentless, designed to turn broken men into fighting machines, mastering various weapons and combat styles. Imagine the sheer terror, the constant dread, knowing that your next meal, your next breath, depended entirely on your ability to kill or be killed in front of tens of thousands of screaming Romans. It's enough to make your stomach churn. But it wasn't just about mindless slaughter. Gladiatorial combat was a complex, ritualized performance. Different types of gladiators, like the heavily armored Murmillo with his fish-crested helmet, or the nimble Retiarius with his net and trident, could clash in choreographed battles that were as much about skill and showmanship as they were about brute force. They were entertainers, celebrities even, with fan followings and their images plastered on walls throughout the empire. A successful gladiator could earn immense wealth, freedom, and even the adoration of the crowd. It was a fucked up system, sure, but it offered a perverse kind of upward mobility. The arena itself was the ultimate stage. The Colosseum, that magnificent blood-soaked monument, could hold 50,000 spectators, all baying for blood, all reveling in the spectacle of life and death. The emperor himself would often preside, his thumbs deciding the fate of a fallen warrior. The sheer scale of the events, the pageantry, the raw emotion, it was a sensory overload designed to keep the populace entertained and distracted from the empire's internal rot. It was a brutal, beautiful, and unforgettable display of human nature at its most extreme. The Roman gladiator, whether a slave or a voluntary combatant, represents a fascinating paradox, a symbol of both extreme oppression and incredible human resilience. Their lives were cheap, their deaths celebrated, yet they carved out a legacy of courage, skill, and an undeniable theatricality that still captivates us today. They were the ultimate performers in the ultimate death sport, a testament to the dark, thrilling depths of human entertainment. If you enjoyed this podcast, please like and subscribe. Are you tired of financial literacy books that feel like they were written by robots? You know, the ones that are so dry you need a glass of water just to get through a chapter? Well, I felt that same way, which is why I wrote Get Rich. Now let me be clear, I'm not some fancy financial guru with a string of certifications. What I am is someone who's figured a few things out on my own journey to accumulating wealth. I've made mistakes, I've learned valuable lessons, and along the way, I've gained some insights I genuinely believe can help you too. In Get Rich, I've poured all of that knowledge into a book that's written in my voice, the same voice you hear right here on the podcast. It's practical, it's relatable, and most importantly, it's designed to be anything but boring. If you're ready to learn about money without falling asleep, then Get Rich is for you. You can find the link to purchase it in the show notes of this episode. Go check it out.
Tune in right now. Got stories to tell, from the small to the grand, all under one spell. We talk about this, we laugh about that, from the strange to the bliss. Get ready to chat. It's the Binge Podcast, where everything's a blast. It's the Binge Podcast, come join us fast. Right now, got stories to tell, from the small to the grand, all under one spell. We talk about this, we laugh about that, from the strange to the bliss. Get ready to chat. It's the Binge Podcast, where everything's a blast. It's the Binge Podcast, come join us fast. Where everything's a blast. It's the Binge Podcast, come join us fast. Tune in right now. Stories to tell, from the small to the grand, all under one spell. We talk about this, we laugh about that, from the strange to the bliss. Get ready to chat. It's the Binge Podcast, where everything's a blast. It's the Binge Podcast, come join us fast.